Okay, cool. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-record the interview. I'm gonna go back,
Okay.
spaz it up, make it sound real nice and pretty, and then we're gonna air it next week. Let's I want to say Wednesday. That way it gives me enough time to promote it and everything.
Okay.
Okay, cool, man. So we'll go ahead and get this going. I'm gonna cue you in, and we're gonna go ahead and get going.
Okay. What's the gist of the interview about?
What you guys got promoting? I know that we're doing the interview for the new music for David Strickland.
Right.
So
Hmm.
all right, so let's go ahead and get it going. All right, 3, 2, 1. It's the one and only DJ Malone. How you guys doing? Chicago 77.3, the best place to be at on any day. Really, how you guys doing? I'm doing good, man. With me right now, I got greatness in the building, man. I really like people who are on the move, on the rise, and people just keep on grinding no matter what, man. So, I don't want this to tell you. I want this person to tell you. Go introduce yourself real quick.
AC Earl. I used to play for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Used to play for the Boston Celtics. Used to play for the Toronto Raptors, Milwaukee
Hey,
Bucks. Played overseas for 8 years. So yeah, I just done a lot of things. I coach, high school, junior high.
real.
Author. I've written 14 books. So
What's
used
up,
to
man?
teach at the University of Iowa. Used to coach semi-pro. So I mean, I've
Many
done a
traits.
lot of things. I've done a lot of things, and still going.
Hey man, and that's the beauty part about it, man. You're still shining your positive light and everything. So I want my listeners to get to know about you and more in depthly on not just from what you have done, but what you're doing presently right now. Um, I really enjoy somebody who's smart, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Somebody who just understands and gets it and everything. So I know you said you play ball and everything.
Mhm.
Now coming into it, how do you feel about the state of basketball right now?
Well, I mean, the game evolves. You know, I was probably in the NBA and in the game when the game started evolving. So, like, I grew up in the era where every big guy, I mean, every team had to have a big guy, right?
Right,
That was the thing. You started with a big guy, right? So,
right,
like, I grew up watching Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and great centers like that. Robert Parrish, was fortunate
right.
enough to play with Robert Parrish. I played in probably the best center era ever, which is,
Yeah.
David Robinson, Patrick Ewing,
Hmm.
Hakeem Olajuwon, Ronnie Cycli, Kevin Duckworth, Patrick Ewing, just
Right, right.
centers, right? And
Yeah.
so as I was leaving the NBA, that started to change, right? With kind of
Okay.
the Allen Iverson era. I played with Damon Stoudemire, that era, where now little guards were the thing to do,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And so, and then the big man got more athletic.
Okay.
So you had the Kevin Garnett's, the Rasheed Wallace's, the Sharif Abdul Rahim, the McDice's, um, where you LaFonso Ellis, where you had those powerful big men, 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", that could do everything,
Okay.
right? And so, and then it started to change again, where then the big man was not needed. So then you had like the Ben Wallace era and those type of guys where the big guy was just a defender, right?
Yeah.
DeAndre
Yeah.
Jordan, so it changed again. So, now we're in what I would say the shooting phase,
Yeah.
right? We're in the shooting phase with the Steph Curry, the Klay Thompsons, and everybody's shooting threes. Uh, and it's translated to the youth, it's translated to the women's game, the girls' game, it's
Yeah.
translated, um, I think we're coming back a little bit to the big guy with Jokic,
Yeah,
to do everything Jokic, do everything center. Um, but it's not, the game changes all the time.
yeah, yeah. I know that was your first love. Musically, how did you get into transition into that?
Well, it's like what they say. Every athlete wants to be a rapper. Every rapper wants to be an athlete. So then it got to be in that era, guys had record labels and things of that nature and got into entertainment. So
Right,
I had delved in that for a little while. I had a record label that I had, and we put out some artists and things of that nature, and we tried to make it big. So it was the era, if you had a hit or you had a crew of guys or you had a posse or something, you could with Bad Boy, with No Limit, with Death Row, with Wu Tang, with Cash Money, if you put out somebody and it worked, G Unit, it worked, and the label would sign you, and you'd get a mega
right,
deal.
right,
So
right.
everybody was trying to come out with these different sounds and uh different sounds and different clicks and different, like Snoop came out with his group, and then Eminem came out. So it's kind of like it flooded the market to a point, and I think it confused listeners,
Okay,
um, especially if you're like a, a purist of hip hop. So like one of my best friends, my college roommate, he's a hip hop head.
yeah,
He's from the East Coast. Like when rap started getting like that, he basically turned off. Like, so it's
mhm,
funny, like we talked today, and he's like, I don't know any of Jay-Z's last 3 albums or 2 albums. And he was like, I just don't, I couldn't get into Snoop and I couldn't get into Dre. And it just, and so it's kind of sad that some music got lost
right,
because of some people. The market got flooded. If you're
yeah,
not used to going
yeah,
to a grocery store and you're used to shopping at a bodega every day,
yeah,
and you go to a grocery store, go to Costco, it's too much for you. You don't know
yeah,
what to buy.
yeah,
And I think that's what music came to. Hip hop and rap were like that for a second, you
right,
know.
right. I think right now, as a DJ, it's very saturated because it's so accessible, and
Yes.
anybody can just go into the booth, and you got apps on your phone, and you can literally just make a song and then go on SoundCloud. So I feel like the what's the word I'm looking for, the going out there, and like when back in I came from the 90s era, you know what I'm saying? So whenever you had a record, you would put it out there for the masses, and you would go regionally and just hit your
And
spot.
tour. Like, guys aren't, is what I would say, guys aren't sharpening their swords.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, like what you said, anybody can go out and put a song, and the delivery is not precise.
right,
Your enunciation is not precise. Um, you don't know how to move a crowd. You don't
right,
know how to handle the crowd. You don't know how to work well with others
exactly.
on tour. And that's kind of that's how rap was. Like you put out a song, you went out on tour. Uh,
Yeah,
and some of these guys who are out now could probably never do a show, and that's why some of them don't do well in different regions, because you can't tour and do a show.
right,
uh because you don't have the experience, you
yeah,
know of doing that. You don't know, you don't have the experience of going to a show, having a bad sound man, or
exactly, exactly.
or going, being a hip hop head and going to Houston or going to Dallas, where they don't, you got to figure out what are they like there. And some
Yeah,
of these guys,
exactly.
groups, like they don't have that. And that's why, to me, some guys are timeless to me. Nas, Jay-Z, Snoop, Ice Cube. Those guys can go to any city and rock it.
Right.
Eminem, 50 Cent. They can go to any era, any music, any city and rock it, because they have that experience.
I think too is also knowing where you're at. As a DJ, like when I came to Houston, I've ingraded myself into their Houston culture. So I
Right.
want to know what was a hit back then. I want to know what's a hit now. I want to know what's going to be on the curve of being a hit, because those are the things is where you have, yeah, you can play what's hot, but you got to understand the psychology of it. Like if I go to the East Coast, you got to understand, okay, this is what was going on back then. This is what was hot, not just on top 40 in the mainstream, but in those hood clubs, in those clubs where it was.
Yeah. You would like the new book that I'm writing. Me and my old roommate were writing. It's called it's 135 of the most influential hip hop and rap songs, and why.
Okay.
So we're writing that book. So we started with 20, we went to 50, went to 75, we went to 100, we got to 125. So we got 135 songs.
Okay.
And why. So over all eras, male, female, hip hop, rap, and group, individual. So I think, when I get that book done, let's definitely do another interview so we can talk in depth on that.
Oh yeah, we can definitely talk hip hop all day, man. It's amazing. So now let me ask you this: when did you know? Hey, I want to go ahead and take a stab at this. I really want to get my voice out there.
Well, like for instance, I grew up on hip hop and rap music. That was my first thing. Okay. So like I was probably 11, 12. Well, I tell the story in the book. I was 6th grade when I first heard, I think, Curtis Blow, The Breaks.
Okay.
Right. And then I heard like Curtis Blow basketball in like 7th grade. And then I would hear through the streets, guys had jam box. That's how you heard rap, because rap was not on the radio.
Yeah.
Hip hop and rap were not on the radio. So you heard it through jam boxes. People had tapes and dubs and different things. And I remember at a park, somebody was playing like Planet Rock. Okay. And then somebody was playing like George Clinton. And like, I went home and I told my brother, like my younger brother, I was like, man, listen, there's these songs out there. We got to find them. Yeah. So we we would talk with each other. We get jam boxes. And then that was a day you went to the store and you got a cassette tape. And you would tape from tape to tape, and you tape people. And then some guys traveled. Like I had a buddy who was from Maryland, and he would go back to Maryland like once a month, or during Thanksgiving and Christmases, and rap was on like once a week, like on a mix show. Yeah. And dudes would just give people tapes, and they would tape it. They would tape it, wake up in the morning, then edit it, and then you'd bring the tape back to school and you'd sell them, or you would dub them. Yeah. So I remember that's the first time I heard like Rebel Without a Pause, like it was on a Maryland mix show. And my buddies were like, how'd you get all this music? I was like, oh, my buddy here, and so, and then, so then I heard it through basketball camps, because I went to basketball camps and stuff, and you'd have guys with Walkmans, or you would have guys, if you stayed overnight, you'd have guys in their room playing it. Yeah. So then I was like, I want to be a rapper, like so like, because I didn't know if I was going to be good with basketball or not. I was good early, then I wasn't. I was good in grade school. And then in junior high, I hadn't caught up to my body yet. I was still the tallest person.
I get what you're saying.
I was still gangly. I was skinny. So I wasn't the best. So like, of course, NBA was a goal and college was a goal, but it wasn't a reality. So the only reality I had was rap music. Like I knew about beats and music. I studied Run DMC and Houdini and Fat Boys and Curtis Blow and all that. And so I was like, okay, that's what I want to be. I want to be like a rapper, like, or I want to own my own record label one day. Okay. And so like, as I got older, basketball started being a reality to me. Like, hey, now I'm ranked. Now I'm playing on a good team, and now I'm doing well, and now I'm getting recruited. So I was like, okay, basketball now is my focus. But I was still, I'm still in the people who know me back in college and know me in the NBA. Like I had every rap song ever. So I had a cassette box made of probably 500 cassette tapes.
Wow.
Because I was a cassette person. I didn't go to CDs till my roommate, my guy Hans. I didn't go to CDs until later, much later.
Yeah.
I was a cassette guy. And so I would, buy cassettes, trade cassettes. Then I got cool with a lot of rappers at shows and stuff, and they'd send me cassettes and they'd give me cassettes. I get promo cassettes. And so
Yeah.
so that's how I got into the game. And I, with traveling a lot with basketball, I was fortunate from traveling basketball, I got a lot of introduction with a lot of different music. So if
Yeah.
you're on the West Coast, I had Ice-T and I had Eazy-E and I had
You
all them
were
guys
kind of
way
one up
before.
and everything. Like
Huh?
promo CDs, they would come out even early too.
Yeah,
So
but yeah, I
you had
had that
already had it.
because I went to the West Coast to play ball. See, so I had all that stuff. That stuff wasn't in the Midwest yet. And then when
Yeah.
I went to the East Coast, I'd have all the underground East Coast stuff that wasn't out yet.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate enough to be able to listen to different stuff. And when I in the Midwest, I bought all the Midwest stuff. I bought Isham and all these other people that weren't out yet. So I was always ingrained in hip hop rap music from an early age.
Yeah.
Even until now, I still buy, like I go on Amazon and probably once every quarter, every 3 or 4 months, I'll order some stuff that I don't have
Yeah.
or some stuff that slipped through the cracks.
Is it amazing to see how hip hop and basketball kind of almost align with each other in a sense? Because it's real cool to see as basketball grew, hip hop grew, and they
Well,
grew.
and this is the thing, hip hop was born in the parks. People don't really realize that. So like, KRS-One and MC Shan and Nas and all them talk about that. Hip hop was a park thing. They would have a park, they would plug their stuff into the outlets, they would spin and DJ and live MC in the park.
Yeah.
And what's in the park? Basketball hoops.
Yeah.
So people were playing at the same time. So you heard basketball all the time. You heard hip hop all the time. And it was, that's why the hip hop and rap are so, to me, hip hop and rap and basketball are so interrelated because it was born in there. So like when you listen to Fat Joe tell those stories about when he was a kid and Nas and some of those other rappers that grew up in New York or at the Rucker Park,
Yeah.
like that's real stuff that we can't, nobody know, and we don't know that. I mean, unless somebody tells you that. Like,
Yeah.
I sometimes I talk to people who are 30, 40, and I tell them these stories. And I was like, yeah, you'd hang out in the park and you play a jam box. That's what you would do.
Yeah.
And then people would break dance from that. Then you would pop lock from that.
Yeah.
And that's what you did. That's what you did to stay out of trouble. You did those things, and that was the life. And then when you got done breakdancing, you played basketball.
Yeah.
And then then you got done playing basketball, you went to breakdance again.
Do you feel like that environment is kind of lost now?
100%. 100%. Because you can drive by. I mean, when I'm at home in the Quad Cities, I drive by parks that I used to play. And I heard through the grapevine, one of the parks we used to play in Lincoln Park, they're actually bulldozing it over. And that's where I got my education outside playing against these tough guys. So yeah, but in general, kids are not outside, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you drive around, there's no kids out. Very rarely do you see kids outside. Like,
Yeah.
when I was a kid, my mom was like, get outside, you're gonna go play, go outside.
Yeah.
So we get up, we play baseball sometimes. We play foursquare, then we play basketball, then we come home and eat, then we play tag, then we ride bikes,
Yeah.
then we play more basketball, then we play night tag, we play hide and go seek. I mean, yeah. And then when we didn't have any money, we just went around to different people's houses and say, hey,
Yeah.
do you want me to cut your house, cut your grass? You want me to clean your gutter? Do you want me to clean up your leaves? There's no kids doing that. Like,
Yeah.
I used to shovel snow. I used to in the wintertime, I do that for the elderly people. Like, there's no kids doing that. Like, I live in a neighborhood where there's tons of kids, and only one, I've lived here 3 or 4 years, only one time the kids came to my yard and said, "Hey, do you want me to shovel your snow?"
That's
You
crazy.
know, and I was so scared, I thought somebody was robbing me.
Oh,
So,
boy.
so the kid, he had all this. It was cold. It was like it snowed like 14 inches one night.
Mm.
And the guy he had the mask on, the hoodie, he had the whole Carhartt thing. So he rang my doorbell and I could see him through the ring. And he had all the stuff on, and then he got off the porch, and then he had a shovel, and like he was gonna kill me. I was like, "What's going
Oh,
on?"
oh,
I'm
man.
sorry to scare you, man. You want me to do your lawn or do your snow? I said, yeah. So I mean, I'm so you don't see any kids anymore. Now you're scared of kids now. So it's like
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean,
Yeah.
but you're right though. A lot of times when we look back at it, and my uncle used to tell me, man, if a person knows how to work with their hands,
Yes.
no matter what, you always have something, a job or something to do. And I feel like that's has lost. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I got that from my grandfather. My grandfather worked for U.S. Steel, Gary U.S. Steel in Gary, Indiana, outside Chicago for 40 something years. But before he did that, he worked for General Motors.
okay.
We never knew that. He never told us that till much later. But he used to work on. He said they taught him how to work on four-cylinder motors and six-cylinder motors and two-cylinder motors. So he worked on snow blowers and lawnmowers in his garage every day.
Okay.
So like us family members, if you needed a lawnmower or snowblower, we came to my grandfather, Papa Jack. And he's
Yeah.
sitting there, he made money every day. He had 5, 10, lawnmowers, snowblowers in his garage every day.
Mm.
He knew how to fix them up. He'd get old ones, he'd fix them up and sell them. So he would do that every day. And then my grandmother, she was garage sale artist. So
Okay.
I had an uncle that lived in the rich part of Chicago, Lyle, Naperville.
Okay.
So when they would go see them, my grandfather was too cheap. He wouldn't take the tollway. He'd take the back roads. And so he cut through all these houses, and there would all be these estate sales. And my grandmother would say, "Stop, let's buy some of this stuff." So she'd buy some of this stuff, clean it all up, and then take it back, to Gary and Hammond and sell it. And that's how she made her side money. I actually wrote about that in my books, my 55 of the Greatest Earl story books. But yeah, so working with your hands, you're right.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, the kids of today, that's why sometimes it's hard. I coach junior high, I coach high school. It's hard to teach sometimes because they don't watch. They're watching everything else but basketball or football or baseball. So when you tell them, "Hey, let's learn how to do a reverse," they look at you like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm
Yeah.
saying to myself, like, we learned how to do a reverse layup when Dr. J went underneath on Kareem.
Mm.
When they
Okay.
showed that clip,
Yeah.
everybody in the neighborhood was outside trying to do that.
Yeah.
Everybody. That was the move, right?
Yeah.
Like, then when like Kareem had the skyhook, like that's the move that got me to play at a high level because I was skinny. I couldn't really jump yet. I was
Yeah.
uncoordinated, but I could practice the skyhook and I could play against bigger players and kids wouldn't block my shot
Yeah.
and I'd get the ball up high. So, so the watching is to me is a art that's gone now with kids. Like they're just watching too much stuff. It's like there's too many choices out there, right? You got Netflix, Hulu, and
YouTube, all that.
YouTube, but they're not watching the game. They're watching highlights or they're watching funny clips, some clips, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? They're not seeing the game. So it's kind of hard to teach them sometimes. So that's one of the things as coaches we're up against.
Yeah, I know that, and then it's it's not there with a lot of them because it's like they don't have the time or the fantasy just to sit there. Oh well, like if you're talking to them for more than 3 to 4 minutes, it's out of
Yes,
there. Yeah,
yes.
it's very hard for them to retain. Um, I want to talk about, man, 13 rules. I want to go ahead and get into that.
Okay.
How did everything come about with that?
Well, it was kind of funny. I tell people, we kind of got tricked on that. So our great ex PR person who went from the Raptors, Elaine, when I was like, I'm one of the original inaugural Toronto Raptors. There's like 6 or 7 of us, right?
Okay.
First season. Um, Elaine worked for the team. She
Okay.
was a PR, so we did stay in schools with her. She was like an all-purpose, and so she worked for the team for many years. Had great relationships, and when the team got sold in the '90s, late '90s, '97, '98, '99, somewhere, she no longer worked for the team, but she
Okay.
still had great relationships. So there was talk a few years ago of doing the Toronto Raptor reunion or the OG reunion or
Yeah.
some type of reunion. Then COVID came, they didn't do it, and then they kind of partially did it.
Okay.
So Elaine put together the reunion for this summer, this past summer, August of this past summer. So
Okay.
it was still kind of spotty because we didn't have everything together, but we still did it. So the people who came from the players was me, Tracy Murray, Jimmy King, and Marcus Camby.
Okay.
Now a lot of other people came, like all the dancers came, all the mascot came, Isaiah Thomas came,
Okay.
our GM Glenn Grunwell came, a lot of other people came. So it did turn out to be well. Also another guy was in town. What's his name? Son, who played for the Raptors. Oh, I can't think of his name, but his dad played for Portland. I can't think of his name. And then he played for the Raptors. He's in the NBA now. I can't think of his name, but he came as well. Um, we had all these things that Elaine had us do, right? All these events and interviews and things. And she goes, "Hey, by the way, this one guy is doing a Raptors song. He wants to do a video and have you guys in it and do the chorus." And we were like, "What?"
Yeah.
We had been up all morning. We did 4 interviews Friday morning before. We did 4 interviews before 11 a.m.
Okay.
So we were like dead tired, right? And so she was like, "No, just please do it. Do us a favor. You'll be in there like 30 minutes." So we go there, and so we see that a couple of dancers were actually singers on this song.
Yeah.
So we knew the dancers. We haven't seen the dancers in like 20 some years. I mean, and so then we kind of, they're playing the music and we're kind of relaxing. And then they're like, "Hey, can you just do this? Can you just do this?" So then they start filming. And then Jimmy King came. So it was me, Tracy at first, and then Jimmy King came. And then, so it got to be where we were kind of having fun. We were kind of vibing out. We were kind of in our own element. So we just kind of picked it up and ran with it.
Okay.
Nobody sat us down and told us what they're trying to do.
Okay.
We kind of thought it was somebody else doing something. We didn't really know that there were going to be any Raptor involvement, whether future Raptor or past Raptor or whatever. So we kind of just picked it up. So I took the lead on it and took the energy and kind of ad-libbed it. And that's the cut that they took. And so they were like, "We love it," and I was just kind of I wasn't being silly, but I was just like, you know what? It needs a little authenticity.
Okay.
It needs a little energy. It needs a little from somebody who understands rap music and understands
This
the
is a
call
college.
and the call and response of how hip hop and rap is.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I gave to it. And then Jimmy kind of followed my lead, Jimmy King, and then Tracy kind of followed my lead. And that's what happened. So
Okay.
it looks like it's getting great traction.
That's
And it looks like it's going to be something. So yeah, that's kind of what happened.
okay. And the person that you were thinking about is Gary Trent, Jimmy said.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Jimmy, you're more than welcome to come
Gary
off.
Trent Jr. Gary Trent Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This is my guy, Jimmy King. We played against each other in Michigan. We had battles, and he was a rookie. my first year in Toronto. So he was my rook. So I took care of him, made sure. So we have a great relationship because, we played against each other in the Big Ten. And he's a Midwest guy. He was born and raised a little bit in South Bend, and I was born and raised in Illinois. So we always had a great connection. So I love my guy, aka Fab Five. That's right. That's what I nicknamed.
That's what's up. Jimmy, you're more than welcome to come off any time if you like to. And
absolutely. Y'all were having such a great conversation.
Hey man,
Fab Five in the house.
What's going on, Ace?
What's up? What's up?
What's going on?
How you feeling, man? Well, I appreciate you being
I feel good. Oh, absolutely. It's great. It's great. It's raining here. I'm in Detroit right now. It's raining a little bit, but it's still a great day.
Hey, that's what it is, man. So, just to catch up and speed up on introducing people on who you are, just real quick, and how y'all all came together, and from your perspective.
So I'm Jimmy King, former Raptor, like Ace was saying, University of Michigan, Big Ten guy, Midwest guy, originally from South Bend, Indiana. I was Ace Rook. They still call me Rook to this day, even though I'm 50 years old. But that's all love and respect. It's just like Ace said, we really didn't kind of have a conversation about how this was going down. It's our relationship built, with their inaugural family. We've been knowing each other for a long time, and we went through the fire together. So when we were coming back for the reunion, we found ourselves in the studio, and like Ace said, ad-libbed and try to give us some fire and a little bit of uplifts, and we're here.
Yeah, we just made it fun. We just tried to make it fun because they were like, do this, and we were like, you know what? Let's just have fun with. We here,
yeah.
So let's just have fun with it. Right.
And I think that's the best way to go, man, because then it becomes, authentic. Because a lot of times you don't want to just say, oh, well, do this and do that, and it's not really there. If it's not really there, I always tell people, if it's not there, it's just not there. It has to be meshed in together.
100%.
So now I know you guys are you guys going as like a group and actually wanting to go out and performing this?
Well, we don't know.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We gotta get some tour dates set up.
Hey, we're gonna start. Hey, we're gonna start.
Listen, but I was listening to the conversation about the old school hip hop, pure hip hop. Back in the day, if we was really trying to get this popping, we just go to the old record stores and pop in there and drop off a couple of copies. Maybe do a live show and keep it moving.
Yeah. If we go on tour, we're gonna start the first date in South Bend.
Yes, I got a perfect spot.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I want to know this from you guys' point of view, because you've seen everything transition. Now we're into Spotify, Apple playlists, or whatever they call it. How do you guys feel now? Okay, we got something here. How do you guys feel about with the new digital stuff, and how do you go about that, just listening to music?
I'll let Jimmy go first. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Well, as far as I've seen some major artists talk about the digital platform and how difficult it is to really account for those streams or touches, and how those numbers could be askew. So, with that being said, I don't know how we could impact that or change that. But I just know, if we're going to promote this, if we're going to, get this into the mainstream, we got to play into it. We have to take advantage of it. I don't necessarily know what that may look like, but yeah, we have to use the platform that is available and what people are using. It doesn't matter if, you know, we feel a certain way about it. You know, we want to get the word out. So what is the most efficient way to do so? That's you know, how I feel about it.
Yeah, so basically what I've seen is this. So remember a few years ago when artists start selling their catalogs?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. So basically, and I read a couple of interviews on it. The reason why they were doing it is because their old record labels did not have the ability to put it in some of these digital spaces.
mm,
So for instance, like okay, so just give an example, like Loud Records, right? They had a lot of Wu-Tang artists, right? And
right,
so Loud did not have deals with certain digital spaces.
mm,
So, you know, RZA figured that out and said, you know what? I'm going to sell the catalog to BMG or somewhere.
yeah,
And then BMG has every place.
yeah,
So now they have a better footprint, right? Because sometimes, you know, you know, me and Jimmy we could probably debate this all the time. Like, you know, sometimes like you'll go online and you're looking for a song and you can't find it.
yeah.
You're
It's not
looking
there in that
for
particular spot.
You're looking for an album. So like that's what happened with Master P and No Limit. When they went bankrupt, the label who was doing their distribution, I don't know who did their distribution, they were not able to keep up with their distribution and put it wherever it went. And so that's why you can't find a lot of No Limit stuff to this day. So like I don't know if Master P ever did sell his catalog or do a different deal, but that's why you see that happening.
Yeah,
Um, and so I know I know Chuck D with Public Enemy, he did that. Um, but he only sold half of it because he wanted to keep some songs back.
okay,
So I think as artists need to be educated on, you know, on that on signing their record deals and publishing and all that, they also need to figure out, hey, if I sign this deal with you, where are you going to put? I just don't want my
that's a big
music
thing.
in Spotify. I want it here, 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 and here.
Yeah,
And if you can't give me all of that, then I don't need to sign with you. You
I-
know, it's almost like a recruit. It's almost like a recruit signing. Like, hey, if I'm gonna play, am I gonna get an education? Am I gonna get food? Am I gonna get NIL? Am I gonna get all this? Are you gonna hire me when I'm done as a coach? You know, if you can't give me all these things, then I don't need to go to your school. So I
right.
think artists need to understand that as well.
I go back and forth as well too because I'm a big component on ownership. You know what I'm saying? I do understand that if I go to a place, they have the bigger marketing and everything else like that. But I look at it sometimes as well. Time can go on, and then the person that or the company that you thinking that okay, well, at first this is cool, but then as time goes on, as it evolves, it doesn't make it a right fit.
Well,
So
yeah, I mean that's what I think Snoop bought Death Row because of that. Because Suge didn't do all the paperwork that he should have done in all the distribution outlets. So I think Snoop bought Death Row so he could put that money,
yeah,
put that music back out, and then get the artist paid.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so yeah, so it's a very unique concept, very unique thing.
I, I'm I'm excited for you guys, man. I'm excited because I can tell you guys are really excited about just being in this venture together. And you two guys are you guys are go way back, and that's a powerful thing to have somebody that you can say, "Hey, yo, that guy knows me. I know him, and we're gonna rock it together."
Oh yeah, man, I love Fat Five, man. That's my guy. So
That's what
you know,
it's
like I
about.
said,
That's what it's about.
we had battles. We had battles in the Big Ten. And you know, and it's a great testament that you don't know a guy till you know a guy.
Yeah,
Right. So like I said, I played against this guy for 2 or 3 years. You see him, you study him on tape, you watch him. And then, you know, with them in the Big Ten, you know, we used to watch them play all the time. So I remember like we watched them play Duke when they played at Duke. You know, I was like, I'm gonna tune in and see these guys,
yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I'm saying? I watched them in the tournament when they went far in the tournament. So then, you know, he gets drafted, you know, and I see this dude in the locker room and I'm like, all right, you know, Jimmy King, Fat Five, what's up? And he's like, hey, what's up? You AC Earl, Iowa. And I'm like, yeah. And I was like, all right, you with me. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was, and he used to sit behind me on the bus, and we used to talk, and we used to have great conversations about music, and we still do to this day. He gave me great insight on my book that I'm writing, and he met my ex-roommate Hans, and they vibed, and that's what it's about. Basketball is about relationships. And Jimmy could tell you about, tons of his relationships with basketball, with the Fab Five and those guys. But, I think basketball is a great friend, and I mean, all sports, not just basketball, but sports is a great thing. And then through music, me and Jimmy, we talk rap and hip hop all day long.
All day. All day. Those were great conversations that I always appreciate, AC's intellect and insight on certain things, not just surface. And that's what the type of conversations I remember. Because although we were talking about things we were passionate about, I always learned something. I always felt like I was learning something. And I appreciate that brotherhood that he extended to me. Going back to our Michigan Iowa battles, that was a respect thing. We used to watch him as well when he used to carry that team on his back. He had some guys, he had some guards, but really AC was the anchor. And so, a lot of people, still remember that AC was the first to break 40 points and when we were with the Raptors, and in that manner in which he did it, he wasn't getting as much playing time as he should, but when he got his opportunity, he killed it. And that's a testament to the type of person he is. And that's why I love that guy.
Hey, man. Center at heart, man. AC, you're a center at heart.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Old school. I love that too. We got to bring.
Sorry, I was late. Sorry, I was late, guys.
Oh, it's all good.
All right.
What's up, Dave?
Hey, man,
No, I was supposed to be 2 hours later, and of course I was in the shower when the text came.
Oh, it's all good, man. It's all good. You're here now.
Yeah,
man.
but these my brothers here, these men are solid men, and they participated in a cool project, then ended up doing something we didn't really think it was going to do at the beginning, right? Like we didn't expect it to happen that way. But they went with me and trusted in me, and it was magical. And I'm so proud to be associated with these two men, and particularly when my daughter and AC did as much yapping about hip hop as obviously Jimmy and AC have done in the past. So it was like, that was magical for me because I got to take my daughter back like 30 years into a time capsule to my really cool friends who, like, when asked out of the blue to come and do something that they probably thought, oh, Strick, like what? Yeah, he's the guy, the merch guy, right? He's the guy who did that stuff. But I worked for Isaiah in the players department, right? Like my job was in the same department. So I actually wasn't on the other side where all the sales and all those guys were.
David, just in case my listeners are just tuning in and everything, give my listeners just a little brief 411 about you, and then how you came about, and from your perspective, how you started everything.
Yeah. So I was director of marketing of CTV. And CTV had the Olympic rights. In fact, we had some host broadcast responsibilities for the world because as a network, we were trying to get a business that would do more than just broadcasts, like we would sell what we would produce to other nations, right? So we did that deal with the Olympics in 92. And that was obviously a big deal because that was the culmination of really the brilliance of David Stern, right? David Stern took a league where franchises were worth $3 million. And they were going to ask for 125 million. Well, that franchise today is worth 3.1 billion. But without David Stern, you don't get there, right? And so I got called to say, because I was doing all the negotiations on sports rights in Canada, right? So I wasn't on the production side, but I had to approve the costs of acquisition of all leagues and rights. And we had the Blue Jays, right? They'd won 2 World Series. First time I was on US radio was talking about the incredible audiences that Canada had generated from that event, right?
Yeah.
So I had that background, and then John Bitov and I met, and you know what? And this is, I'm sure these men will confirm it. He's just like a different cat. He was open. I said to him, because I can threaten people with my intelligence sometimes because I think so fast they can't keep up with me. And John was like, hey, this guy's a horse, let him run. And he listened to me, and his father was a magician, business person, JP, loved him. And in 3 months, not 3 months, maybe a bit more than that, 6 months. 6 months, we went from 0 to winning a franchise. And when we won it, it wasn't even the Raptors, because we didn't tell them the name was going to be anything. Because we're like, I'm John, like, we're joining a private club. We got to have respect for these people. They're developing a whole creative services strategy inside. They've just changed the Suns logos and all this stuff. They're going through transition. We wanted to understand the league and then say to the league, we want to be your partners. So that's different, right? So, and I'll give you an example. This is a perfect example of how smart John Bitov is. All the different groups that were bidding, which was Magic and Magic Johnson and Michael Cole, right? Like, we came right after them, and it was like just being at a rock show, and it was like total intimidation with all the boxes, right? Like the black ones with the silver stuff all over it. I'm like, John, cool down. Like, don't worry, that wasn't our strategy. But yeah, no, we had them, and then of course the Maple Leafs. Like, we were fighting Leafs Nation, and like when we won TSN, here's what Michael Landsberg said: sometimes things in life are neither right nor fair. So it wasn't right or fair that eventually these 2 men came in and became Raptors, because otherwise they wouldn't have been Raptors. They were only Raptors because we won, right?
Yeah,
And we were
not to cut you off, Dave.
No, you go, AC. You guys talk.
Me and Jimmy talk about this. We talked about this at length. There were some guys who didn't want to come play for the Raptors. Like, sometimes people forget that. And one of those guys were my ex-teammate, BJ Armstrong, who's from Detroit. And I'm sure Jimmy knows and has dealings with him. So, BJ was a senior at Iowa when I was a freshman. And he took me under his wing, kind of like how I took Jimmy. So, like, when I heard that I was going to play with BJ and he got drafted, I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. And then I heard he didn't want to be there, and Isaiah traded him. And I'm like, but he wasn't the only one. Like, there was Victor Alexander, who I knew from Iowa State, who was a big guy, and he was from Detroit. I'm sure Jimmy has dealings with him. So, like, there was some cool guys who are really still cool to this day. BJ's our agent, Derrick Rose's agent. There was a lot of guys who said, you know what, I'm not signing up for this. So, for us to take a leap of faith, I think was, is honorable. But, I also tell people sometimes you do things and you don't know what you're doing at the time. You're just doing the right thing. And you're like, I hope it works out. And I think that's what me and Jimmy did, and some of the other guys did too, is we just took a leap of faith. We understood Isaiah's vision, and we were honored to be a part of it. And we went gung-ho in it. And that's one of the best decisions. I'm glad that I stayed and made the best of it, because it impacts me to this day.
That's a real statement. David, let me ask you this. And you're a marketing guy. How at that time, and it's hard to brand something when it hasn't been done or the belief isn't there. So how do you go about branding it to where it looks attractive?
Right. So, like, there was a process, right? Because we work with the NBA. I went into focus groups with designs on different team logos, including dragons and swamp dragons and grizzlies, right? Because the Vancouver guys wanted to call, everyone was like, honestly, the Canadian entries in terms of what people I've heard wanted to call their teams were kind of dumb, like Mounties. That's so cliche, right? Like, it's just too cliche. Like, not
Smokey and the Bandit. From Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah, but I'm like, anyway, so we wanted to be different, and that whole time frame, we were just literally looking at the designs, and then we had a contest, and the contest was really designed to get us a database because we had 150,000 kids send in what they wanted to choose. And that gave us a database, which of course is going to be their parents' address, right?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
that's why we then we put the Raptor on corn pops, and then we put the Raptors on Rice Krispies, and like the corn pops became like purple. Our colors were the corn pops,
Yeah.
right? So it was like, you're just going like, John and I are going like, okay, breakfast table, we need to be there. Because we were like McDonald's, right? The kids in the back seat bugging the parents to turn left to get a toy. That was us. And it was like, but the beauty was because we were patient enough to not say we should be able to make a name for this team on our own. We had the support of the NBA. And because I had worked with the NBA for like 2 years prior in the World Championships, right? I was the vice president of marketing of the 1994 World Championships of basketball, right? So that I met Shaq through that, right? All those elements. But yeah, we just went through it, and we saw that the kids responded to what we had. We knew our target was 8 to 14-year-old boys, and those 8 to 14-year-old boys have become the core of what is now the largest fan base in Canada for any single team.
Mm.
You know, it is. Well, 30% of Canadians consider themselves to be like intense Raptor fans. Like, it's a big number, bigger than any other team. Now, we're the only team, right, in Canada for the NBA, and I hope some.
I think you went up.
Talent coming out of there, the talent coming out of Canada, and all these. Well, you know, they got the bronze medal. They beat the U.S. in the bronze medal game.
I want you to give me your perspective on the 13 rules, man. Let's I want your perspective on how everything came about with that.
Yeah, so I'm a songwriter and a guitar player. My brother got what turned out to be esophageal cancer, but didn't really figure it out till December 20th, and January 2nd, he was gone. And he's younger than me. And that had impact. I wrote a song, and the song had a bridge in it, and that bridge called for me to like reconnect with the people that love me and that I loved, right? Because you lose something like that and you go, man, like, when's my ticket up, right? When's that going to happen? Right. And if you don't know, like, you got to take advantage of every opportunity. And we had this reunion, and we had gotten together in the past. Like, we had one, I remember we were I guess we went actually on court. Maybe it was 15 years. Were you there for that, AC or Jimmy?
No.
I know Isaiah was, and John was, and not because that was like maybe 15 years or whatever. And they actually let us go on court and all that stuff. So, but like, yeah, I mean, I wrote a poem on Canada Day called 13 Rules because I wanted to write a song for my family, and 13 Rules was the hook, and it talked about Naismith and the Huskies, and it brought all that stuff in. And it ended with the words that start the song. Essentially, the most important ones are "We the North in our heart" before it had a name, because you don't get to where you get in Canada without AC and Jimmy and Damon and Isaiah and John Bitto. We don't get there. The path is the path, and that path led to a championship. And I wrote the mission statement of the team, and that was to be not only great value for families and for entertainment, but to win, and we did. But the song was about, you know, really paying tribute to those people that in the back, the men, the women, all the individuals that, and these men know, in the whole room that was with us, we had a whole bunch of us come back, and they were all volunteers coming back. And so I wrote this song, and I got a guy to help me, Sheldon Universe, who had for 10 years worked in game ops, beating like a pail on the side of the court, because I knew he could understand the energy. So I could use him to go, okay, like I remember during the songwriting, I was like, okay, I almost feel like I'm sitting courtside, but not quite, right? So I'd be like directing it like an orchestra and moving it. And then Fab Al total unfound guy, but like, man, did he ever, that was awesome. Like he took all the meanings that I wanted and put them into rock and rap. Like it's just an awesome, like I'm really proud of the work. But really proud that we as a group of individuals, and there was really 5 OGs there, and you count Elaine Kwan, who we owe a lot to. There's 6 in the room, right? We had 3 players, myself, you know, and Dinosh. So that's pretty cool that we could create that, because, you know, everything in the world today has to be authentic. I believe it has to be. And I can tell you that I've spent time with these 2 men, and these 2 men are genuine, and they're real, and I'm real. And we want people to go to 13rules.ca. We want people to go to our Instagram, 13rules_8. And we want them to play our song. And my greatest dream would be to hear it at the Final Four, hear it at the Olympics, have it in the headphones, of Jamal Murray. That's awesome.
I love that it's a movement. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love that the way that you're branding it, it's a movement. It's not just, oh, it's a single. It's a movement.
No, you know what? I was writing this song this morning. Like I'm writing a song, and it has to do with something important that's going to happen in the next year in Canada that relates to women in athletics. But I literally just wrote a song, and I haven't done all the music yet, but like I've written the lyrics and I know what I want to do. So I have purpose because I believe there's actually things. First of all, the collaboration thing, right? Like I'm so excited for AC and my daughter Sarah to actually do a podcast together, because the perspectives and the different, like AC knows it. Like you guys genuinely connected, right, AC?
Oh yeah.
Like Sarah and you know, and that's me. I'm like, that's the movement. I'm sitting in a casino bar, and I'm watching my daughter and AC yap, and I'm like, man, those guys are so entertaining. Let's put them in a podcast. Like that's how I see the world, right?
I can't wait to start.
Yeah, no, exactly. But like I've just got to get all the corporate
right
all done, right? But like my mission's clear. I want to work with people I love, they're my friends. I want all of us to succeed together, and we're going to collaborate, and we're going to, you know, do things that need to be done. And we don't have all the restrictions of the world that's before us, right? I have no board I have to change. I have no, you know, I can create the board I want. I can create a board where more people look different than me, than look like me. I can create a board with more women than men. I can do all those things. I can only, you know, I want to sponsor women's sports, right? But basketball is our foundation, and that, because it's the one that as a sport has done the most to influence the culture in the world and bring us together. It brought me together with these 2 men. It brought me together with John, and like, just like our group of people, Elaine, everybody's from a different background.
Yeah.
So that was our work group, right? Like, it's what it was. It's real. And these 2 men are real, and they've helped me, and they continue to help me here today. And we're going to do some really cool things. We're going to make some mistakes. We'll probably try some things that won't work, but you don't get anywhere without failing. You don't get anywhere.
You have to fail.
You don't get better. You don't get better, right? And even though I'm old, I feel like I have a renaissance and a rebirth and a clear purpose. And maybe it was just, you know, my time was now, right?
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know if you heard all the numerology stuff, but like, I was born 22 years after James Naismith died, to the day. My singer, Sheldon Universe, airs Naismith's birthday. Isn't that crazy? So one guy shares the birthday. One guy shares the day he died. We didn't know that going in. But like, look at the output, right? You believe sometimes things come down, and I think they did here. I think they did, and I'm not being like crazy. I'm just being real. Like, how else to explain it? I went to a play, and I won a 50-50 draw. And that, from that moment on, it just happened. And then Elaine was so critical, because Elaine was the person who got these men to come and help me, right?
Dominoes
I got the
come into effect.
nosh but yeah.
Dominoes always will come into effect. Nothing happens for no reason, man. There's always something. I wanted to get each of your input on, and Jimmy, I can start with you on where do you see the 13 rules? Well, let me ask you, where do you want it to grow? The 13 rules. I'm gonna start with you, Jimmy.
Where, as far as you mean, like platform or
Yeah, platform wise or just impact wise.
impact wise, or platform wise, I think, obviously, we touched on the digital aspect, but uh, I think the platform that most people listen to, Apple, iTunes, all these different digital platforms that we already are a part of, but just getting the word out there, getting more views, getting the video out there, and getting touches, I think is the next step. But as far as what I see and what I hope is that it gets to the point where it goes viral, like it could be a part of the NBA culture, the NBA kind of lead in and game, or not game shows, but lead ins and debate shows. So, that's kind of, my vision, I know Dave and AC have, their own as well, but I think collectively, we want this thing to be big.
Definitely big. AC, how you feel, man?
I just look at, I watch a lot of sports, and I'm one of the guys. I like to watch the commercials because I like to see the brands that these big NFL, NBA, I like to see how they align themselves with. So I think it could be a commercial jingle, where I think that somebody could pick it up.
Yeah, totally.
Where
like
so then you
licensing
hear,
it for
yes,
sure.
yes.
Absolutely.
So I think that's where it could wind up, in a little snippet here or there, because it's funny, the background songs that you hear in commercials, you'll hear Nas, you'll hear Jay-Z, you'll hear, DMX, you'll hear Snoop Dogg, Dre, Tupac. I mean, and then when you hear it, that's what draws you in. You're like, I don't really want to watch a Burger King commercial, but when you hear that, do, 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 and you're like, oh, that's Dre, that's Tupac, that's, and so that's where I think it could wind up, or it could pick up.
Yeah, and I think that would help our distribution, right? So I'm trying to actively get the bank that sponsors the Raptors to try to use it in their ads. But America is a much bigger marketplace, so we're interested in America. Because our song was not meant, it was meant for Hoops fans, and it was meant to tell them the story. The story includes the fact he went to Springfield, Mass, and his boss gave him 2 weeks to create a new game, and he waited till the last night, and he crammed in. The next morning, he got 2 pages of 13 rules typed up.
Gary, I got a quick question. I got a quick question for you. I forgot to ask you this question, and I remember this from when I was in Toronto. And each country is different. To have a gold or platinum record in Canada, how many you have to sell for gold?
100,000. This one behind me was 450,000. That's how many.
So gold is what?
Gold is 50,000 in Canada. 100,000 is platinum. We put it in for the Junos. We think it's worthy of that level of certainly recognition, and we hope other people. Rod Black's part of our team too. Rod Black was our original announcer, and Rod's a good friend of Charles Barkley's, so he's likely to see it next week. So, we have ways to get through, but we're very thankful for you today for helping us. Appreciative of that.
Nice.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that about I did not know
so every country is different. So that's one thing that I learned when I got into the music game is everybody kind of thinks that you have to base your sales off of America, which is America gold is 500,000 and platinum is 1 million.
Yeah.
But every country is different.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're roughly 1 in 10, right? Like, but although Canada's now a little bigger, right? Because Canada's now like 11% of the US, or 12, because we're growing faster.
Yeah. Do you think, and we speak on Drake and everything sometimes, do you think now, since Drake has come out, from that point, do you think musically that has brought in Canada a lot more eyes to the situation?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just reinforces that there's this cultural diversity that can create pretty cool stuff, right? I mean, we've had lots of great artists from Canada, right? Whether it's, the Avatar guy, or there's been great artists. But yeah, I mean, the music scene was supported initially by a government protection, right? You had to have 50% of the radio had to be Canadian, and then they dropped that down to 35. But they allow for the local market to develop, right? And that's government supported, and that's one where they always fight over it in free trade, right? It's like, because that's a cultural thing and they want to carve it out. But I don't think Canadians I don't see the world as like this song. I never thought, well, the only place I want this to be played is Canada. Never.
No.
Because I was born on the south shore of the Detroit River.
Wow.
Man, like on a hospital right there, right? So I'm like, okay, I grew up essentially as a person in Detroit. That's what I grew up as.
Yeah.
I had an NBA team and I had an NFL team. The NFL team was making me sad a lot of times, but yeah.
Oh, man, I just appreciate this gem, man. I really do. This is has been really insightful to me, because I just love music. I'm a big fan of music. I'm a big fan of basketball, and I love how you guys you merge that together beautifully, and you love you love what you love, man, and it pours out on the record. Before I go, what's next for you guys, man? I know we got the 13 rules, but what's going on with you guys?
The remix.
So I got sorry, AC, go ahead.
The remix.
Yeah, he's gonna do remix. Yeah, we got our video. We have like short-term stuff, right? We got this really crazy cool video. I did this and filmed it being done.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. So
there's a bunch of
our next endeavor is me and Jimmy. We're gonna put the remix together. We're gonna
The B-side.
Right.
Oh,
right.
Yeah. You know what? And that's the kind of enthusiasm that I love, because you got to give people the freedom. Because when you give them the freedom, because there's no corporation here. This is just me doing it because I don't know, because I can. All right. Yeah. So I'm doing it because I can. And because of the loss I had, and now look at what it's brought me back. My brother in an indirect way. And I know Jimmy's lost 2 brothers. Like,
exactly. That's important. It's the passion. And that's what we're talking about, right? It's the passion that came from us wanting to be a part of the sport of basketball, and then the passion of music that kind of inspired us throughout our lives and driven us at times that we felt that we can't go on, and music plays a part in our lives that that's really, deep and nostalgic. When you hear certain songs, like I was listening, something came on the other day while I was in a restaurant, it almost made me cry. And I was like, dang, because it threw me back to like a time in my childhood when everything, everybody was around, like we mentioned, your brother passing, my brothers and all that. And it took me back to those times. So, I just think that, great things live on because they're birthed from a place where things matter that really matter to us.
Yeah.
Drive us.
That's well spoken right there, man.
I can't say anymore.
I do appreciate this, man. Like I said, this has been a wonderful talk. I really am gonna let all my listeners know about this, because this is not just an anthem for just for Canadians or whatever, but just
No.
in life in general, man. I think it can be touched. Let's go around the room real quick. AC, I'll start with you. Where can the people find you at if they want to get Instagrams, all that stuff?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Phenom Iowa. That's the camp. That's the company I do camps for. I'm on Twitter as Coach AC Earl, and I'm on Facebook as Coach AC Earl. Yeah, so my website's venomsportstraining.com with the V. My books are on Amazon. So is what I tell people, I'm Googleable.
As the kids would say, I'm Googleable.
Right.
Jimmy, where can they find you at, man?
I'm on Instagram as Jimmy King 24. And I have a sports recruiting firm, or service, where we help high school athletes transition to college by procuring athletic scholarships. So you could check that out at True Champions, TRU Champions, no E. And then I have apparel for Fab Five. It's fab5.com.
Oh, I should have worn my sweatshirt. I should have worn my sweatshirt today. That I ordered my Fab Five sweatshirt.
Well, what's crazy? What's crazy is I appreciate that, A. I was going to wear mine today.
And, I know. I was thinking about it. But
yeah, that's where you can find me, and I'm on other social media as well. But really, the platform is Instagram, Jimmy King 24. And you can find me in other platforms.
Okay, appreciate that, Jimmy. David, man, where can the people find you?
13rules.ca and 13 rules, no space in between 13 and rules _Inc. is Instagram. And when our video breaks, you'll see it there, and we'll make sure you get it right away. And there's already a teaser there, and there's all sorts of interviews that we've done and things that we've done that are going to continue to be posted there. We understand that it's about content, and I think all I know is that Josh was complaining how many like terabytes of data or whatever we needed for all this stuff we had shot. I don't think it was terabytes, but you get my point. He was like, we have a lot of stuff. Now we got to use it all. So that's what we're doing. So come do it. Please share our song. Tell the whole world about it. We are so proud and honestly blessed to have had this happen to us, because it happened for a reason. That's all I'm going to say. So join us. We're not big corporate. We're trying to be different. We're trying to collaborate, and we're trying to operate in a way that we think the world wants us new companies to operate.
That's what's up, man. Like I said, I really do appreciate you guys even stopping by and giving me your time and everything. We're gonna be playing this and I'm gonna put this in rotation. So I am the owner and program director for Chicago 77.3. So the bill stops with me. You don't have to worry about, oh, I got to talk to this person. I'm gonna be putting this in rotation today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice. Hey man, yeah, in a few months, man. Yeah, man. Let's reach out and do another show on the hip hop book and have Jimmy in, because
yes,
yeah,
I
man,
love that.
Oh, yeah. Count me in, baby. I love it.
Hey, David, and I'm gonna have you do the honors, David. Now, I always ask people before they leave if they can do a shout out for me, and you're gonna say your name, and I'm rocking with Chicago 77.3. You think you can do that?
Yeah. Hey, David Strickland, I'm rocking with Chicago 77.3.
Yeah, it is. Hey, man, we do appreciate everybody for stopping by and everything. Make sure you guys support. It's the one and only DJ Malone. We do appreciate everybody for tuning in. We out. One.
That's that area code. 773, the shine.